Chapter 1, Leaving the Past Behind. Hello everybody, today I am going to be reading the book Immortal. This is a book I've been working on for a while now, and I decided to read the first chapter. Hopefully this video isn't too long, but I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Droplets fall from within the darkened clouds that paint the rocky sky above Lower Destin City. Foreigners coming from the surface are up to their usual illegal activities, selling narcotics, providing illicit services, and making quick capital by kidnapping and making a bid on innocence. Oh my. The only people meant to keep the peace are underfunded, under-equipped, and understaffed. Yet, few still believe in the lost cause named Destin, electing to persist in putting their lives on the line each day. Two of those underappreciated men are now working on their latest case. They follow along the trail of a missing person, Miss Lydia Holloway. They used a tip from an ex-underground cartel informant in a public metro. The duo would manage to track her down through abandoned sewer tunnels running throughout Lower Destin. Henry Doyle and his nephew, William Doyle, pushed through mud and sewage reaching past their ankles. Yuck. Their boots and slacks become heavy with soggy mud and smelly water. The duo reaches an old door illuminated by a small flickering light above. The pair enter through the door and encounter a pair of guards, oh no, who wear dark gray plastic masks with the signature rhombus-shaped underground cartel symbol plastered on the front, in front of another door that leads into what should be, according to their informant, an abandoned sewage tunnel maintenance building. Gosh, I hope these guys aren't dangerous. The room around them was dark, with crates piled on the mossy floors. The two hide behind a long crate outside the guard's vision. Henry would glance at William and lowly whisper, "On my signal, take the one on the left." William glanced back at Henry and hesitantly nodded. It wasn't William's first time taking down guards, though the cartel is nobody to toy with, obviously. William would do as told and use the darkness to his advantage, sneaking past the different crates spread throughout the room. Being small and light had its advantages after all, mainly being hard to find. He finds himself just to the side of the guard on the left side of the room, awaiting Henry's signal. William then sees a spark of light from the direction where his uncle should be, catching both of the guards' attentions. Oh boy, let's see what's gonna happen. The pair headed toward where the spark came from, reaching back into the waistbands of their pants and for their weapons. One guard checks behind the crate and gets knocked down by a swift uppercut. The guard on the left gets a clean hit on Henry's jaw, knocking him down. Oh no. The guard then pulls out a pocket knife and prepares to make a move, only to get knocked in the back of the head by William's pistol. Plunging next to Henry on the cold, damp, and mossy floor. Henry holds his jaw with his hand and then looks up at William. "You missed a signal." William, ashamed, helped Henry up and said, "Sorry about that. I thought you meant the other signal." Henry laughed. Come on, we got work to do. The duo proceeded through the door cautiously, unsure if their short struggle alerted anyone else in the building. The door led to a sizably dimly lit room. 5 underground cartel dons gathered at a large table. They wore elegant outfits compared to the 2 casually dressed guards. It seemed as though they were having a meeting. A tall, middle-aged, and pale man walked in from the darkness. He had sunken eyes that made him look like a skull, with black hair entering from a dark tunnel that looked like it could fit a whole train. Kinda hot, if you ask me. Anyways. Behind followed a shorter woman with captivating and seductive body language. In the crook of her right arm. She held a tablet in the crook of her right arm. The blue light illuminated those predator-like green eyes. Both of them seemed unhappy, having different annoyed looks on their faces. One is fiery rage, and the other is irritation. Gosh, these people might be important for later. The pale man leaned forward, placing his enormous hands on the dimly lit table. Then speaking loudly to the cartel woman, he said, "You better have a well-made explanation for this mess. There's been complications with the tunnels collapsing." One of the cartel dons responded, "Multiple tunnels have become too unstable to transport the subjects safely." Another don said, "We need a higher maintaining budget." The pale man slammed his scarred fists on the table. His expression showed how furious he was at such a remark. "You get us those subjects by tonight, or else I'll—" The pale man was interrupted by a gentle hand on his shoulder. It was the woman behind them. She spoke in a calming Latin tone. Oh boy. "You may have your maintaining budget, so long as you continue to prove useful to biotech." She then comforted the pale man beside her, hand massaging his wide shoulder through the smooth black fabric of the heavy-looking coat. The 5 cartel dons looked toward each other. It seemed they had no other choice but to take this compromise. "So be it," the cartel don said. "Expect the subjects before sunrise in the loading bay." The pale man gave an angered sigh with his head down. "We will be expecting you," stated the woman beside him with a devious smile. "We need to find out where they are keeping all those people," Henry said as he turned to face William. "Quickly, before they are out of the known territory." Henry grabbed his handgun from his holster, holding it near his face before giving William a reassuring nod with a confident smirk. "Just follow my lead, and things will turn out fine." William had a bad feeling about all this, but trusted his lead. Unholstering his handgun, knowing fully well it was only to be used for self-defense, Henry and William sprung up from behind their cover, pointing their handguns toward the unarmed cartel dons. "Hands up where we can see them," Henry confidently commanded. The cartel all obliged, slowly raising their hands just above their heads. The pale man and seductive woman simply turned to face us, seeming even more irritated. The pale man lowered his arms under his heavy coat. Henry noticed this and pointed the handgun towards the duo instead, shouting another confident command. "DCPD, show us your hands now." Gunfire shot out from seemingly nowhere. The echoes bounced around the metal walls, impairing our hearing and blurring sight. William was shocked and dropped his card, covering his ears from the piercing echo of gunshots. He heard bullets split the air all around him, making him flinch and scream in fear. That must be terrifying. After what felt like a full minute of gunfire, things went quiet. William slowly opened his eyes and turned to Henry, loud ringing filling his ears. Henry stood perfectly still, his handgun still pointing toward the duo. William then noticed Henry's face had changed from confidence to realization of pain. Henry kept his smoking gun forward with one hand. Blood began to seep through his perfectly white dress shirt, riddled with holes. William froze in fear. The gunfire had come from the pale man's heavy coat, smoke seeping out through the burning bullet holes. The Dons stared at the gruesome scene in shock. They hesitantly moved to a crate in the back of the room, covered with a large blanket, each scrambling to get it open using whatever was nearby. Oh no, Henry, what's gonna happen? Henry gasped for air, then looked over to William with fear in his eyes, saying with a shaky voice, I can't breathe. William didn't know what to do. For the first time, his uncle looked scared. Henry coughed and began to stumble, rapidly bleeding out. William quickly caught Henry, holding him while tears streamed down his cheeks. He couldn't make out any words, trying to ask what to do next. Nothing would come out due to panic that consumed him. William always had Henry by his side to keep him out of harm's way, yet here he was, holding his dying uncle in his arms. Henry grabbed William's arm with his blood-covered palm, looking up at him while his face was becoming pale. He managed to get out some weakened last words. William, run away and don't look behind you. William looked down at him while feeling his heart pumping against his chest. Henry handed him his handgun before he took his last breath. He couldn't understand why the case had gone so wrong. They were supposed to find the missing girl, only to return home and watch sports that night, just like they always did. Loud gunfire and sharp cuts in the wind flew past his ears. William gasped as he returned to reality. The cartel dons finally got through the crates to the gun stashes. He stood and ran as fast as he could, doing as told, running in fear for his life. Bullets flew past him as he clumsily vaulted over crates and ran through heavy sewage. His mind became fogged by adrenaline pumping through his veins. William could see the bullets ricocheting all around him with bright sparks lighting the way in front of him, some nearly missing him by meager inches. The sewer water entered his boots, slowing him down even more than the fear ever could. He had to get out and find help for his uncle. Someone had to know where they were. He finally reached the end of the tunnel to call for backup. Relief finally showed its face when he saw the moon shine brightly over the water in the distance. But then William was shot behind the knee and shoulder. His mind went blank as he lost his balance and got knocked down and off the tunnel edge into the pond, panicking and now gasping for air, only to swallow heavy algae, I don't know. He slowly sank into the pond's mossy and rocky floor. He could hardly move his arms and legs to swim to the surface without feeling the sting of the holes being filled in his body. He caught a glimpse of the cartel dons peering into the water, searching for his remains before quickly retreating into their system maze. William sat still while the water around him turned from green to red. He didn't know what to do. His uncle was gone, and he felt too weak to swim to the surface. Thoughts began to cloud his mind. Was this how he was going to go out? Failing his uncle and without a choice to live or die? A large floodlight shone brightly through the night's darkness above the water, getting closer every second that passed by. Is someone coming to save me? William thought. His sight began to blur before slowly becoming dark again. He was passing out from a loss of blood and a lack of oxygen. William could only hearing the whirring of two large propellers. What felt like cold mechanicals embraced his skin, pulling him through the murky pond water to the surface. It was followed by his oxygen entering his lungs. His shoulder and knee pain slowly disappeared after a few sharp pinches. William didn't care who or what it was. He just wanted to be home. He just wanted to go home and be with his uncle. End of chapter 1. And so that is chapter 1, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. If this does become popular somewhat, I will read chapter 2 and possibly even 3. Anyways, thank you for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and tap the bell notification. I hope to see you in my next video. For now, I love you all. Stay safe. And I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.